What is going on, YouTube? So I wanted to come back today with my final Olympic coverage before I do something about the women's hockey match tonight between the USA and Canada. But that's actually what I'm talking about right now. Anyway, pretty hefty amount of Olympic coverage today either way. But wanted to come back with a little bit on that to start. Now, this is, what is it, the fifth time in a row that these two teams have faced off. It's become fairly regular now, just with the rest of the field not really measuring up to par. Finland, Sweden also being some solid teams as well. But anyway, if you guys can flash back to 2014, if you've been watching this Olympics at all, especially USA women's hockey, then you cannot get away from it. Talking about that 2-0 lead that the women's hockey team had over Canada, before kind of collapsing at the end and losing 3-2 in overtime. The U.S. and Canada have already faced each other in a qualifying match or in a round robin, whatever you want to know it as. They were in the same pool. And Canada came out on top 2-1 in that one, but the U.S. definitely controlled the pace of play. I believe they outshot Canada 45-23. And this is going to be a big test for the U.S. though. Canada, while the U.S. I believe won every matchup between both teams between the 2014 Olympic gold medal game and then when the Olympics started now. The U.S. just needs to get that monkey off their back of losing to Canada in the Olympics. Like I said, it's already happened once this time around. I do think the U.S. is the better team right now. Again, they're a little bit younger, faster, got a little bit better nose for the net. Maddie Rooney has been a big subject here. She didn't get too much work in the U.S.'s last victory that came over Finland 5-0, mainly just because the U.S. pretty much kept it in Finland's offensive zone the entire time, put a lot of pressure on Norra to the Finland goalie. Now, Canada, I think there's a couple reasons why they might be a little bit shaky again. Not as fast as the U.S. They do put on a lot of pressure, which I know the U.S. was kind of trying to utilize the stretch pass to alleviate some of that and use some of their speed to get through that. Kendall Coyne is a big player to watch for the U.S. in terms of that very speedy winger. Outside of that, I think the U.S. or Canada has been switching around their goalies a lot, which eliminates the consistency there. Obviously, 45 shots against them, 1 goal. Worked out pretty well when they were playing each other the first time around, but that's just, I think a lot of that's just because Canada's such a good defensive team in front of their goalie. I think the second one is, I think it's finally going to catch up between the U.S. and Canada that the U.S. has run things for the last 4 years, and I think that the U.S. will finally be able to get that monkey off their back. At least that's what a lot of us in the United States here are hoping for. Another thing is that I think the U.S. has going for them right now. Obviously Canada was their only loss through the start to the Olympics. I think getting that first loss out of the way to them and seeing, okay, we can outplay this team. There were a lot of breaks to win against the U.S. I mentioned this in the video earlier when I was talking about it a little bit, where the U.S. should have challenged, I think, the second goal that was offsides. At least in my opinion, where Canada scored. Ultimately, the U.S. ended up losing 2-1, so obviously that cost them. But both teams still ended up in the gold medal game, which I think a lot of people expected either way. Finland putting up a very good fight the first time that they played the U.S., which was in group play, when they lost 3-1, but that third goal was off an empty netter. You can catch face-off for this game. It is around 11 p.m., actually a little bit after that at 11:10. I think it's the event of the day really to watch. Definitely something that'll be good to catch. And, getting revenge for that 2014 loss is going to be a big thing, I think, for the U.S. It's going to be a tremendously entertaining game either way, something that, even if you're not a big hockey fan, I think is worth the watch. The U.S. men's team didn't fare too well, losing to the Czech Republic last night in a shootout, so they're done for even the semifinals. The U.S. women being, in my opinion, the best event that's really left on top. So something to definitely watch. This would be the U.S. women's first Olympic gold since 1998. Canada has won every single one of them since. So again, big one to watch there. And I just think that it's time for, oh, excuse me, I believe I said that the U.S. and Canada played in every Olympic gold, and I don't think that's true. I think Sweden was when they upset the U.S. in 2006. Correction there. But anyway, I think it's going to be an incredibly entertaining game to watch. Definitely worth the watch if you're staying up late. It's 11:10 Eastern time, so if you're on the West Coast, it's a little bit easier to catch. But anyway, that is pretty much it. See ya.